Hey YouTube, I am so sorry that I left off where I did last time. I didn't mean to scare you or make you all think that I was dead. I'm alive. And let me actually start where I left off. First, right after I made that video, I broke up with Mistress, which wasn't really all that spectacular. We hadn't really dated all that long. Slightly after that, I was on a chat room with some friends and posted a picture, and one of them said that I was fat or looked fat or my clothes didn't flatter my figure or something along those lines that made me feel very unhappy with how I looked, which caused me to relapse into my anorexia. During that time, I was living in my car, which it was incredibly cold outside, and unfortunately all I had was a sleeping bag and a blanket and the backseat of a car, and had to make it through the nights. Things were just looking so dismal that I decided I was going to attempt suicide again. I got really drunk and started walking. I was thinking about jumping off of one of the highway overpasses onto the road and get hit by a giant truck or something like that. And well, needless to say, I drank so much that I ended up passing out before I could attempt. But the thing was that it was freezing cold outside, and I passed out on the sidewalk, which there was snowbanks, so the cars passing couldn't see. I was unconscious in the snow in below zero weather with way below zero wind chill for hours before I woke up with severe frostbite. Couldn't feel a single limb on my body, couldn't feel anything, and I somehow was able to crawl over the snowbank and into the road, and this guy with a red snowplow on the front of his truck picked me up, and he said, "Oh, you know, what's going on? Where can I bring you? You know, is everything okay?" And I told him just to bring me back to my car, and I'm going to go back to sleep. And he started driving me towards my car, and then I believe he called the police, which then took me to the hospital. And I was admitted for almost a month and a half there. And during that time, unfortunately, being the system that we have these days with thinking that people are crazy and that they need to be locked up, I was actually mentally health committed, which means that for the next 6 months, which I'll talk about why there's another 6 months involved, but I have 6 more months to not leave the state, and also I am severely restricted in what I can do. I can't obviously drink. There are many other things that I have to go through all these tedious steps, otherwise I'll be what's called revoked, and I'll have to start my commitment all over again, which won't be fun. Anyways, after I got out of the hospital, I was admitted into treatment for my eating disorder. And that was probably about a month-ish there, which that all went well and fine. And after I was discharged, I got into my own apartment, which I am in now. Absolutely gorgeous place. It's bigger than anything that I've owned myself, and I have my own furniture, and it's lovely. And anyways, I went to treatment for my eating disorder, which wasn't really helping, and I was still, I have purging type anorexia, so I will try to starve myself, but if I do end up eating, I immediately throw it all out, which I'm obviously not suffering with that right at this moment, but I was at that time. And at the time, I was in contact with a friend who I lived with at a homeless shelter. Her name was Sky, and she said that she needed a place to move in, and I opened up my home to her, and she moved in with me. Now, I'm going to backtrack a little bit to my eating disorder treatment, and being in that facility, I was, sorry, screen is weird. Being in that facility, I started to do some research and started to try to find out about who I am and why I'm here and what's the reason I'm living and all of that. And anyways, Sky, the girl who's moved in with me, my roommate, we are beginning to explore my spirituality and develop myself further. And she is like, this is going to be hard for you all to comprehend, but she is the new Eve, the woman that is spoken about in the New Testament. So let me backtrack a little more and talk about my awakening. I was born and raised Christian, and as I grew older, I turned completely away. And it wasn't until my parents disowned me when I came out to them about being trans that they kicked me out onto the street, and I was living homeless as a tramp for 3 years that I began to realize that there was so much more to live for. And at the time I was naive to how vast the universe is and how much knowledge and wisdom is here for us to absorb and to develop our spirituality. It wasn't until January 22nd, 2011 at 2 p.m. on the nose that I did my dedication ceremony to ritual magic and started my journey down a path in which I cannot turn back on. Then I began to read more books, and really as much as I could get my hands on. And I began to strive for projecting into the astral, which is the dimension right above dream dimension. To this day I've had 5 projections, which each time I learned more about my purpose and why I'm here, and just develop my spirituality more. I'm starting to awaken to my true purpose in this physical reality's dimension. I have begun to rewire my brain and become open to the exploration of this realm. And like I said, I'm working under the as the Big Dipper to my master, who is the new Eve, the water bearer and Maitreya of this dying generation. Our physical world is coming to an end at a rapid pace, if you haven't noticed. It is ascend or die, and enlightenment is the only option. We must transcend the ego, which is Satan, and evolve our consciousness to reach the astral and farther. I wish to fulfill my destiny and explore my passions to make the most out of my time in this plane before the time comes for the world to change and our humanity to be forced to evolve. Breaking the chain of naivety and ignorance that seems to be the trend among Americans and really who populate this planet. Together, we are the leaders of the revolution for the evolution of the consciousness to break apart from our form and move in and leave our physical bodies as a husk in our dying dimension and ascend into the non-physical planes. Well, that's all that I'm going to cover in this video today. Stay tuned. Pretty soon I'm going to upload a video with the Maitreya, and hopefully I will throw in some trans stuff in there, because I realized I did not cover any of that in this video. So don't worry, just hang in there. I'm alive and I'm doing well. Thanks.